next on the
agenda
in the Darrell Bailey empire.
Yeah. So let me know when you're ready, Bob.
Yeah.
Let's kick it off. We have it till 2, so we got a good 50 minutes in.
You can kick it off from 30. 10 is fine. Let's get it. This one will be good. What's going on, everybody? On another episode of the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast, I am your humble host, Austin, aka More Than an Agent, with my Dominicano hermano, John Does Real Estate. John, another episode. Here we go. How you holding up?
I'm doing great. A lot better than yesterday. I'm really excited about this episode. This is a very interesting guest we have here. I actually met him early in my career, so this is a good guest we have today.
Today's guest is definitely a staple in the real estate community. If you're doing business, obviously in New Jersey, then you 150%
Anywhere,
know this
anywhere in
particular-
Jersey, anywhere
in Jersey, then 150% you know this individual. Killing the game, has been killing the game. I can't wait to talk about what he's going to be getting into, because serial entrepreneur, agent, investor, educator, community organizer, and a true definition of working on your craft and protecting your craft. Today's guest, not even from the country, but is here to show us how it is done. Today's guest, Darrel Bailey. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm well. I'm blessed. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to kind of give me this opportunity. I don't do it often, but I saw what you guys were doing, and I said to myself, anywhere I can add value, I want to try and add value today. So this is going to be fire. I want your audience to know we're coming to deliver today. Yeah?
That's a fact.
So like I said, this, what you're doing right now, giving back and whatever, I got to commend you for this. You know, a lot of people out there, you know, they're doing stuff, they're talking, but they're not giving back. So, you know, you'll get your blessings in return, and like I'm really happy about today.
I appreciate that. And more importantly, you know, I like to believe that's sort of when I have the experience, right? So we're not pulling it from our rears at this point, and, you know, we want to bring on guests that can continue to further the conversation, as real estate and business is always a forever changing industry, and we got to make sure that we keep the conversations going. So let's jump right up into this. How you starting, getting into the business? What were you doing before real estate?
Yes, give us the bio. Give us your bio.
How does this work? How do you end up in real estate?
You got? So yeah, I'm one of these kids that always knew. My grandfather was a landlord. My grandfather is from Jamaica. And in the 50s, the new queen, which died the other day, went around the Commonwealth and said to all of her subjects, come to the UK, the streets are paved with gold. And when they got there, the UK was like a bomb site. They just came through the wars. The British people, Europeans, didn't even have toilets inside of their houses. Black Caribbean people taught them about having toilets inside of their houses. We taught them about having education, the nurses. So they went through the Commonwealth and actually exploited people and got the best people there. My grandfather basically became a landlord where there was about 7 families in each room. So he was subletting, that's his whole thing. And growing up as a kid, everyone knew he's the landlord. If you want somewhere to live, he'll find something for you. So real estate was never about money for us. Like in the UK, I grew up seeing signs or seeing pictures of signs saying, no blacks, no Irish, nothing else apart from, like, not even Americans. If you're not through and through. So United Kingdom is made up of either UK or England, Wales and Ireland. And when you see a lot of Irish people and other people coming from Europe and coming to America, America was a safe haven. And this is not like way back. This is like, if you're talking about the 40s. Right. Yeah. So when you look at all these different countries in America, why they came here, it was really because of the kind of oppression that was in Europe while they came to the promised land of America. So that is really where, from a European, so as a landlord, seeing my grandfather do that, my father didn't want to really do real estate. He bought commercial buildings and stuff. My mother, I learned the business from her. If you come to any of my events, you'll see her where as a woman, working 2 jobs, buying houses, renovate, building a house, taking me to another country, which I'll talk about later on. So I saw it, but not about the money. It was really that if you want to have independence, you want to put pictures on the wall for your kids, you need to own. So I was one of those kids at Christmas, don't give me no presents, give me the money. Right, yeah, I'm shaking you down. Like, you know what? Remember the 50 that you said you were going to give your uncle?
I need that.
Yeah, I need that because I'm going to buy real estate.
Right.
So I was one of those kids where from the age of like at least 7, I'm saving. So by the time I got to that legal age of 18, I sold my first house at 19. And it was never about the money. Like I said, it was about stability. The fact that in Europe, it's not easy to get jobs as a person of color. It's not easy for you to basically be an entrepreneur. That's an American thing, ideals. So you have to build your own foundation. Even when you go to like France and these other countries and whatever whether you got your money or not, it's not just happening like that. It's different from America. America has a different mindset. That's why it's a great country where if you come here and you're willing to work and hustle, you'll make it. But you come to the UK with your degree and your master's and doctorate, if you're not from the right family, association, school, whatever you hit glass ceilings. So Europe has changed because America has forced it to change. And that's why I always say to people, listen, America's done great things that not even Americans know how great Americans have done things throughout the world. So that's real estate how I started in a nutshell. Sold my first house at 19, couldn't buy another house because I was rolling up to the bank and they're like, where did you get 50% deposit? I was like, well, I saved it. And
so in UK, you needed 50K? 50%?
I didn't understand about mortgages. Remember, I'm old school, like cash money.
And how much were these properties?
Like at the time, 65,000. So I needed like maybe another 10 grand more. Okay. But I'm still 19 and the bank manager is looking at me like, how did you get the money? So like, I'm like, what do you mean? I got, here's the bag. So I'm bringing the bag in and he's like, nah. So the town that I'm from, it's called Bristol in the UK. It's one of the most wealthiest cities in the UK where it's slave money.
Bristol. Is that England?
England. Newark is being modeled off Bristol. So when I go to Newark, and your landscape of Newark, that's Bristol. So when I look at your properties and developments, and when I go into the city of Newark and I tell them, yeah, on the docks here, you're supposed to have like the fashion, arts, the nightclubs that goes down the art, because there's an industrial layout that you got of Liverpool, Bristol. So when I came to Newark, I'm able to plan Kearney, that's what's going to happen there. You're going to have a stadium over there. I can really plan out the landscape because it's an industrial, the blueprint is the still European industrial city. So it's easy for me to navigate these things where I know that this is here, the poor side is here, that's going to get gentrified, that's where the money's going, because history repeats itself. So that's how I basically started off.
And you said about 65, 75, is that pounds or dollars?
Pounds.
Yeah. All right. And naturally, for my Forex trading days, Lord have mercy, pounds always, it was always more expensive than the dollar.
Yeah, so it's about 100,000 US at the time. Okay. 19-year-old, I got half of it. Well, more than half at the time. But here's the thing about Bristol. Even though it's a wealthy town, high amount of narcotics. So you had to be, growing up, I don't know anyone that had a 9-to-5. That wasn't even me. Yeah, my mother had a 9-to-5, but realistically, the opportunities weren't there. So how I learned real estate is learning from the street of real estate. And when I used to really in the beginning, because I had to build business and whatever I learned from the guys in the street what real estate was about. Where people wanted to change their life, save their life. That's how we use real estate. And I say to people that how I learned real estate, where a guy said to me, hey, Austin, you have to sell my house. But I don't sell houses. Yeah, but you're going to sell my house or I'm going to break your legs. What do you mean you're going to break my legs? What are you talking about?
I'll take that listing.
No, you're not.
I'm selling that house. I'm selling that house.
You're not even an agent, John.
Right, no.
A guy just looks at you and says, so I had to figure it out.
Can I get my license, sir?
So off market, how I learned real estate is really, for probably a good 10 years, I never dealt with the public. It was all off market. And the people that I used to do business with, we don't advertise homes. We don't do meetups. They live, that economy wakes up at 9 p.m. as a minimum. So that's how I learned real estate in regards to it's real and it's at state. Later on, way later on, I learned about, meetups and, this conventional nice stuff. But I learned real estate from the basics. So going into it and being more formal, and I couldn't get a mortgage to buy the second home. By then, I got into a job where I was at college, I was good at IT, and I learned to hack people. And the college said, you know what, we have a company that will take you out of college, pay you a full-time wage, and send you back to college. I'm saying, yeah, I'm ready. Like, if you're going to pay me to go to college, I'm ready. This company at the time, I didn't know who they were. They're called Nortel Networks. They were the company, Bell Networks is the guy that invented the telephone. Didn't even know who he was. Didn't know who he was. Even when I came to America, didn't know who he was. So our 10,000 people, 30 kids like myself at the age of 19 got recruited in to this big telecoms company as a guinea pig to figure out how do we sell bandwidth, internet connections. So we were creating, what is Instagram and how do you get people to buy bandwidth 20 years afterwards? So we were coming up with protocols of ideas of why would Verizon buy bandwidth from us? What is social media going to look like? Because there was nothing called social media in 1999. So they brought us in as guinea pigs as kids. I had 3 psychiatrics every week I had to check in with. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I'm thinking, 9 to 5, you're paying me. But they used us as kids to say, well, what's going to be the future?
Data.
Wow.
Data.
So I learned network design. I learned network security. As soon as I saw the guys rolling in with the Porsches, I was like, what do you do? And they're like, no, I'm not employed here. I'm self-employed. How do I do that? How do I earn $1,000 a week? No, sorry, a day, $1,500 a day they were earning. And they're like, you need to become a contractor. And I was like, how do you do that? They said, you have to become a Cisco engineer. How do I do that? Within 3 weeks, I became a Cisco engineer. Started contracting services at the age of 19, 20. And then I realized that, so I can bill you like $80 an hour, $100 an hour. So I did that, went to India, went to Thailand, went to all the European cities, lived out of a suitcase to say, I'm going to raise my real estate money. So I'm going to just do this to raise my real estate money. And that's basically what I had to do to raise the money to say, yeah, I'm going to become a real landlord. And that's how I kind of started.
If you well, even before that, okay, we're not just gonna skip over the fact that you said hacking, right? So like, we're going back into this. So like, let's run through that, and because there is a I don't know what genius is the adjective. I don't know how to say it in its noun form, but like is it a genuity? Like, because there is a high level of IQ that needs to be associated with hacking. And how did that help you in the other areas? And where did you even like learn to hack? Because all it is just rearranging the computer system, right? But like, so where did self-taught?
That's right.
Okay.
So it's like, say when you do any business, there's a problem. What's the solution? And I realized I could solve problems. All right, cool. Then you got friends that are like, yeah, John, I can do it this way. The same way a guy goes on a skateboard and learns different skills. That's very like, no, I can get into your computer quicker.
Right.
And then you start, that's your hobby now. Yeah, you know what, while you're right here right now, I've downloaded everything on your phone and I've wiped your phone clean and now you're screaming, well, I've got your access, I control.
Right.
Oh, you know what, we're just going to sit in our car right now and just like really let the whole company lose their data connection and let them scream. It was like, we didn't know at the time, and I had a friend from Portugal that he really put me onto this stuff, because like it's just friends. Like, yo, this is what it is.
Right.
So you learn, like, your conversations is like, yeah, we need to learn coding. We need to do Java for this, SQL for this. So it was like a kid's game.
I completely understand. Like, it's the coding aspect that I think a lot of people, like, once people hear like hackers, they automatically think like danger or trying to be completely malicious, and like all it is just playing the video game of computers.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So when you're younger, it's just like, no, it's a kind of a friendly game, but like I sank your battleship type of situation. You know what I mean? So completely understand. Go ahead.
So all right, talk to us about the next. So you bought the first deal, couldn't get the second deal, got some jobs in between. Yeah. And what happened after that?
So.
And why did you why did you like not, because it seemed like you had the potential to make good money in a consistent way, and I don't know if England's landlord, if they're raking in on cash flow, but that was fast money and you're at 19. So I mean, why not just go with that and just kind of forego the real estate, or maybe put that on the back burner?
My friends out on the street are making 15 bags, 15 grand a day. I'm in a 9 to 5.
Gotcha.
And that was in 1999. Do the math.
Yeah. No, I got you.
So
once their portfolio was up there, though.
But no, I'm talking about
not portfolio.
We're not talking about portfolio.
Understood.
But I want to stay alive.
Understood.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
So my thing was like, to help my friends, I'm going to get them into real estate to reduce crime, to keep you out of jail. And if I be 100, I have a family relative that he changed my life, where when he came out of jail, a distant family relative, I always saw him like, you're 9, 10 years old, he's all got the newest car, like everything, the newest whip, he's like everything, but he's rolling a suit, and he's like, yeah, do you know where this came from? And like, he looks like a banker, and I'm like, similar to like where you see Power with the guy Ghost. That's how he looks, and I'm like, you don't look like everybody else.
3-piece.
So I saw him come out of jail, buy a new whip. I'm watching him, and then he sells the whip, and he's driving this beat up van, and I'm like, what are you up to? I know this is a scam. What are you up to? And he said, bro, I'm doing real estate. I'm not going to jail no more. And I said, what do you mean? Bro, come on. Tell me what it is. So he puts me in a van. So I climb up in this beat up van, and he basically takes out a piece of paper, and he says, you know what? This address here, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to spend 40 grand. I'm going to make 120. I'm going to do this. And he basically went through 6 transactions with me and showed me how he's going to make $1 million in 8 months. So I was like, get me in. So he said, you got 5 grand? Yeah, I can get 5 grand. Gave him the 5 grand, put me onto a home. So I said, I could get houses for 5 grand? So his friend did the mortgage. I don't even know how I got it. And I was like, okay, real estate. And that's the age of 19, 21.
Right.
I don't know, that was just, I didn't even see the numbers. But he was physically doing the work at the house. He was doing the demo. So it was not like and that changed my whole thinking, where he was like, listen, you, Austin, cannot be like us. And if you come on the streets like us, we're gonna break your legs and stuff. Darrell, this is not for you. You stay in your little job, and you can't be out here like us. And they were serious, like, bro, if you think about it, we need you to do the business stuff. So I learned the business stuff, open LLCs, no laundering money stuff. It was like, look, clean, hey, buy a home, build a business, education, this is what I'm doing. So I solved a problem accidentally, helping your friends, and built a business out of helping your friends. If you didn't come through a referral, don't know you, bro. I don't do real estate. I don't know you. My lead generation was going to nightclubs, going to the church afterwards, going to the Amman, going to Joma, go on my knees, go and meet my Muslim brothers. That was my business model. All this lead generation, that's how I learned business. And people trust you, and you do what you say you're going to do. And that's where I learned business. Only when I came to America, I learned the whole realtor stuff. So 19, couldn't get a mortgage afterwards, had the same problems. Was earning good money at the bank. So 1 year when I was in IT, I was 3 times in 1 year I was laid off. I said, you know what, I'm not doing this again, man. Like I'm like, when I mean broke, like really like bread and water, I'm like, not doing this again. So I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna get any job I can to get money. And that's how I ended up in India, where this guy called me and said, you know what, hey Austin, do you know how to do, I don't even know what he told me over the phone right now, but I just told him, yeah, I can do it. Like whatever he told me, I just said, yeah, I could do it. Can you be on the plane tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be at the airport. And that's how serious I was, because the man said to me, you know what, Darrell, you can earn 130 pounds an hour. And in my head, I calculated that by the time they figure out that I don't know what to do, I got enough money to do real estate. Went to India like a G, like went there.
What part of India?
I started off in Delhi, Calcutta. Went over to, I saw Bin Laden about 12 times, bro. That was all my security. They sent me into the hood of India's. When I meet Indian people, I say, listen, I'm in Gujarati, I've been Patna. Patna is bandit land. But when you roll through and the man rolls down the line, I'm like, and he said, he only lets me through. If I was Caucasian, you get kidnapped, my friend. That's basically what I was doing with my rucksack, like just naive, saying that I want to earn my paper, my bread. And they were like, the job that I was doing, if you see like high-rise buildings, you have an antenna up there. Mm-hmm. So they sent me to these high-rise buildings to go into the port cabins, pushing my laptop to be able to test the signals to make sure the connections work, which I had to learn on the job because I didn't know what I was doing. But I was good. They sent me to all the hoods. So, you know, when you go somewhere and you're like, the first job I went 2 o'clock in the morning. And then, you know, when people know you're there, like you go somewhere and you're in the area and you're like, it's just quiet. Like you can like, on the TV, you know, when you have the sneakers over the line and you're looking and it's quiet, that you know that something's going on here. And I'm in India and they've never seen a black man before. I'm in a village and they've never seen, they're going nuts. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, everyone wakes up. And I'm like, this mob, the thing about India, as soon as I got off the plane, it's like, Manhattan is nothing compared to the amount of people that are in India.
Yeah.
People like, and I'm like, oh my, I'm going to die. But what the company did for me, I was working for a company called Reliance Infocom. They are the people that own Tata Steel, like the buses and whatever. They have a whole conglomerate. And the company is a family that are basically bringing Americans in to build a mobile network as a family, but they're also building the schools, the infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. So when I got to the airport, I had a security guard with a machine gun. I had a driver, and I was like, bro, is this necessary? Like, what is this? Like
Maybe it is.
So I had my butler and stuff 24/7, but they sent me into the hoods. And because I knew how to maneuver around the hoods, that even when I went into these areas, the great thing about India at the time, I'm there doing my job, and there's 25 Indian guys around me. Every cursor thing I pressed, they memorized that. They were on some different level of IQ, no shoes on, poor, but you know what? They had the books out. I don't know what I said, but they're like, so you're going to get replaced in a second. They just want to bring the foreigner in. And that's how with India, where like I just made friends with all my Indian guys. Like I went to their houses, I go and sit on the floor, I drink their tea, like I just rolled. So that's how I made the second set of real estate money, where I remember coming back first class on the plane and I was like, opened this Financial Times. I'm like, why am I reading the Financial Times? And I see this franchise, American franchise, that you could buy a mortgage company. And I'm like, that's what I need to do. So I bought a mortgage company to do mortgages to buy my next house. So the bank didn't want to lend it to me. So you buy the mortgage company so I could get my next house.
Easy peasy.
Not easy peasy. You do what you have to do. So that is really how I started. When I became a mortgage broker, or I had my own finance company, that's what the franchise was about. So I did like insurances. So I started as a broker where because I'm funding all the people that can't get mortgages, I became one of the top mortgage brokers. That's how I learned real estate, underwriting. And then someone thought it was a good idea to make me become an underwriter. And I was like, bro, I'm doing loans for myself. So back then we had 125% mortgage, 100% financing, 25%. 125% financing, 100% financing, 25% as unsecured loan.
And that was your down payment.
Bro, I will buy anything if you're giving me 25% extra after I buy it.
I'll take it, of course.
You can fix it up.
Enough, bro. Forget about fixing it. But if you give me 25% of every 100,000 I buy, that's my business model.
Yeah.
So I went crazy. I just bought everything, and
that's in the UK.
In the UK, I bought everything I could buy just for that 25%. Now I got cash now just by buying houses. A lot of the houses I bought, I don't even remember the addresses and stuff. It was like, I need more houses because I can earn 25 to 50 grand per house, and I'll figure out later on what I'll do with it.
Right.
When you're young and naive, you're just... So what I did accidentally was build an investment company with the mortgages. So now I bought it. I'm like, Austin, I have to pay the mortgage payment out of this 50 grand. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do what my cousin did. 5 grand, you get a house. So we wrap up your mortgage, you get the 100%. I would do, pimp it out because I used to buy, when I couldn't buy normal houses, because you can't find 25 normal houses a week to buy, I used to go to developers and say, hey, how many new construction homes have you got that's finished? I'll just buy it. Just like, how many you got? 25? I'll buy it. So I would call people from Atlanta to New York, just some of the stock units, because my business was the money play. And that's how I became the lender of last resort. Want money, Austin? Don't worry. Just put your BMW over here, put your keys here. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Bring the money, come.
Here's an interesting point, because I definitely do want to get through the rest of these questions for sure. What's your thought process on the dogma that, to make money, follow your passion? Because it seems like, obviously in your case, like although the passion was real estate, it was just like, whatever will give me money in the interim, I'm going to go after it.
Well, I didn't have the opportunity or the luxury to think about passion. I'm in a world of survival.
Yeah.
Like, most of my friends, you're either dead, in jail. I didn't think I was going to live to 22. Like, right now, in my 30s, it was like, I'll tell you about it, I had like a midlife crisis. I ain't got no, like, dead, jail, or on drugs. And it was like, well, just, like, I'm on a roll with this thing. And the next part that really changed my world was that time when I was made when they laid me off 3 times in 1 year. They called me and said, hey, do you know about this bank? Someone canceled on an interview, and can you be there in an hour? And like, the way I was so desperate for money, my suit was always there. I'd be in there 30 minutes. Went to this bank, so I'm looking for, where's the tellers and stuff? Like, you said it was a bank. I'm going into this big building like in Manhattan, and I'm like, this ain't no bank. Where's the tellers? Go upstairs to the guy, and we're like sitting down, and like, bro, I come here to get this job today. I don't know what you need me to do here. I said, you're a bank or what have you, but whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. So he's like, well, this is an investment bank. Yeah. What do you need me to do? Yeah. So he saw that, whatever you need me to do, I don't know about investment banking. It was an IT role. And he said, you know what? The next person that's going to interview you is going to be very difficult. And the next person that I went into interview with was probably the most racist conversation I had. And I said to her, look, my friend, excuse me, I know you're a German lady. Listen, I don't know if you don't understand. I'm a black man. I'm built for this. Yeah. You can't faze me. I come here for this job today. Yeah. I got water in my fridge and bread. Yeah. How much are you paying? That's how I got into the stock market. So I basically did the security network for London Stock Exchange. My customers were Deutsche Bank. So I worked for Deutsche Bank, how I got into investment. But all these American companies, Lehman's and all that kind of stuff, we basically did the security network from Europe internationally. So America over to, well, not China, but probably most of Europe and what have you. So I learned network security from a IT point of view, doing it for banks. And that's where the money came again, where it was like, when you're doing it for banks, you're with the traders. I'm in IT, I play soccer with the traders. You see a whole different lifestyle. And I'm like, yeah, I need more.
Was that, so when you mentioned that you were in Manhattan, was that for that particular trip or did you already move?
I was in London. I was supporting Manhattan in regards to whatever American banks that were in New York.
Gotcha.
Basically, we did the support from the UK. So where we do the support in the UK, which I'm probably not supposed to speak about it, but I do. But basically, you're going into a hood, you open a door, and all of a sudden there's a vault of a whole technology center in the hood. Underground, eye retina scans, weighs you. All of that sci-fi stuff you see on the TV is real, my friend. That's where I built.
I'm not surprised. That's where you get the information, like inspiration from.
There you go. So I built those. My job when I was doing stuff, I used to build those data centers, and from the ground up, from cables all the way up to the servers. That was part of my job to do. Make sure the security's fine, technical support, whatever. I used to live in those centers. But what it is that that's where the whole back office of the financial system were in the hoods, that you would never be able to find them. And that's basically where they used to send me to do that stuff. So that's how I got the debt set of money to go, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to go into real estate in a big way.
So let's fast forward a little bit. When did you actually come to the States?
Come to the States. And I'm going to miss out a big part, John. Like that's when I did that, I was buying over 120 homes a year. But we can pass that. Yeah?
No. 120 homes a year. Let's go back to that one.
That was just me. My company was doing more than that. That was that whole business model. If I can get 25% off the house when I buy it, and I figure out with the developer that, you know what, how many units you got? 20, 15, 20? And I just bought them.
What type of mortgage is that? DSCR, similar to DSCR?
No, they were subprime.
Oh.
GMAC was my main lender in regards to doing that, which is American Bank. There was numbers of products that as long as you didn't even have to have the credit at the time. There was like a profile, and as long as...
Like does the UK have a credit system?
The Americans brought the credit system. It's your system. When America wants to get rid of their money, we get your Nikes before you. We get your iPhone before you.
Test the product over there, see how it works. That's okay.
Yeah, so that's basically how all that stuff worked. So I realized that it was never about the houses. I basically used the properties to spin the cash, but because I was buying these new construction homes, just before they were finished, I would sell, Austin, how many you want? You got 20 grand? All right, I'm going to give me 7 grand a pop. I'll take 7 grand off you, do the mortgage, you do the mortgage, you got 7 houses. So give me 20 grand, you could buy the house off me with tenants in there. So I built a whole boiler room because I was watching Wolf of Wall Street. I built that stuff where I was going to nightclubs to find pretty women to sell to my guys to say, look, find people who got money. I got units to shift.
Right.
So that's how I got involved with real estate. Wholesaling, that's how I learned wholesaling because I had to sell the contracts of the house many times. And then John would come back to me afterwards after he owned the house for a period of time and I'll sell it to Austin. From Austin to the next person, from that person to that person. So I never had to deal with the public at all.
It's interesting how, like, you know, your just natural state of environment growing up, just how you were just naturally doing business translates into your whole entire off-market space that, you know, you've been able to build here because obviously, you know, you're a staple on getting off-market deals. So it's interesting that, and everybody in New Jersey will always wonder, you know, who's the individual that's getting all the off-market deals. And it's very interesting that, you know, you're the exact opposite where you never actually dealt with anything on market. So it's, you know, it's funny how it actually translates smoothly into now this particular environment where, you know, you're still doing off market. So for anybody, here's a good question. For anybody that is looking to get into the business, real estate has changed over the years, but real estate is real estate. For anybody that's looking to get into the business now, what's the best way that they can find off-market deals?
Okay, so let me give you a new place. So here's the thing. Real estate or every business has changed since COVID. Every business you're in a technology business now.
Yep.
You're selling pizza, you need to know technology to get it to them from A to B. If you are going to do the old conventional real estate, you're going to be dead in the next 5 years.
Easy.
Everything data driven right now. Digital real estate is the way forward. So for everybody that's getting involved right now, this is the greatest time. Okay, greatest time. So where is the before I used to drive for dollars, knock on doors? No, I buy data. The best data. It's like buying the best product. That's what I do. So what I'm getting, I haven't even scratched the service. What I'm doing off market wise, I'm not even scratched the service because I do about 100 a year, but I've not even tried to exert myself. So for the last 2 years, I've traveled all over America to learn how do I do this thing where I got guys pushing out 500, 400 deals, 1,500 deals. How do I do that? So I spent over $200,000 traveling all over America to understand, how do I do this? How do I find this home or this opportunity where I'm doing like what the Zillows are doing right now, where if you got a criminal record, you got a water shut off, you got this, you got that, I've got you picked up on my radar. I know your problem before you start having a problem. So with that, for the new guys that come in, this is a great opportunity for you to start learning how to master your data, market to your data, to attract the people to come to you. We attract the business. If you learn how to do that, converting whereby I'm only speaking to the people that no one's speaking to.
Right.
No one's speaking because I'm using data points, over like 75 data points to identify you're going to have a problem in the next 12 months. It's just like whether you admit it or whether it's either you're gonna do something with me or the bank is taking it away, my friend. Like, that's really where it's at.
Gangster or cordial.
So now I'm working on nationwide. I just started doing nationwide in the last 30 days. And to be honest, it took me a long time to get out of this mindset because I don't feel that I've even started in New Jersey. To be honest, I regret that I didn't do this a long time ago because a lot of guys that were selling me properties in Newark, none of them came from New Jersey. They were like selling me that, where are you? You're in Miami? So how are you? Because you got a 3-family here. I was dealing with wholesalers like all over the country. Now I know how they do it. So now what I'm doing now, guys like Austin, where he knows his stuff. What's the next level? Like, Austin, are you ready for your hedge fund? Because like we're building our fund right now. A lot of you guys see me do property tours and stuff. I'm probably wondering, why every Sunday am I doing property tours for free and stuff? I raise about $3 million in my property tours.
Not surprised.
Yeah, no one wants like, yeah, okay, Darrell, you educate me. Yeah, I see the house. Yeah, I don't want to do that, Darrell. Can I give you the money and then like you give me something back?
I'm telling you, people until they get into the nitty gritty, it's just like, listen, we doing it, full and all time, and you think you about to get okay? It sounds good.
So I'm teaching everyone that wants to learn that. It comes at a premium. Because now I spent the time to fill the gaps in my education, every vulnerability, every part I didn't know. I have the best coaches in America for every type of business I'm doing. Mindset, wholesaling, rehabbing. And what I'm doing now is coaching people and saying to them, look, Austin, you don't need me just as a coach. Have access to my coach. So my coaches, I'm like, yeah, we're rolling. Like after I'm finished here, I'm going to Miami tomorrow. I'll be on a boat, yacht, all that kind of stuff. You come and meet my coaches. So you will have that situation where I show people that like on my listing side, my realtor side, my realtor business is really just because I don't like dealing with agents because it's difficult sometimes. That's why I get more realtor business. So anything I don't buy, I'm like, okay, do a listing, do about 700,000 to 900,000 in my realtor side. Didn't really exert myself. Yeah. I'm teaching people what I did. I don't know what other people do, but what I'm doing. And I'm saying to you, if you are serious, I can show you how to become an operator where I haven't gone to a house as a realtor in the last 2 years. I can teach you how to build it out. If you want to become a business owner, I can teach you how to build it out. But you also have access to my coaches that do volume 7 and 8 figures, talking about 9s. That's for the people nationwide. So now my mindset is like, you know what? Yeah, we can't do this New Jersey. We've got to do nationwide. New Jersey's actually behind with real estate. When you go to like Midwest, West Coast, Florida, California, they're clicking We're behind.
Well, no, because we have attorney review. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
It's only New York and New Jersey only use attorneys.
I haven't answered your questions. For the guys that want to start, here's it. Education. YouTube is your university, number one. Okay, number two, proximity is power. You got to get around people that are doing it, not talking about it. These two guys are doing it. You want to be around them, okay? You have to operate from a place of abundance, okay? Not be scared, okay? Doesn't matter. I see Austin as my peer. If he wins, I'm excited. Yeah, that's where you got to be working, because what it is, you have to have people that, you know what, you collaborate together, collaboration over competition. 100%. So this is where you got to get out of your mindset, get skilled, get educated. I call people, I say to people, I'm your insurance to stop you from making the mistakes I made. Pay for it. So I pay. If there's something wrong that I don't know, I pay for that education. I don't want to learn the stuff. I want to know that I know the stuff. So whatever I pay for, so if I go to a mastermind for 30 grand, if I can't make like 100 grand within 90 days, I don't do it. So I pay to go into rooms. I pay for education. I put my money where my mouth is. And as long as you can tell me, and I'm doing a whole due diligence with you, John, when I pay you this, can you solve this problem, that problem? And who else am I going to meet in your community? What they connect? Look, I need to raise like $3 million next week. Have you got a guy? Before I swipe the card, and as long as you can give me that, that's just a play. The same down payment I'm paying for a house, that's the play.
Right.
Good point.
So like I said, mindset. Okay.
So what's next then? Like you know, are you going into anything scaling wise with acquisitions of commercial real estate, anything more, you know, are you still in that particular play? Where do you see you, for example, your brand right here, right? Your brand right here. What's it called?
So this is
Wealthy Way.
Wealthy Way is Ryan Pineda's brand. He's one of my coaches. Yeah?
Oh, shout out to Ryan.
So Ryan is one of the real estate guys that have had 1 billion views in his social media.
Yeah, he's a big time guy.
But when I met Ryan, I was saying, bro, I'm not interested in Ryan. I didn't come here for that. I'm not one of those novelty guys. Bro, tell me how you did to make money. Yeah. And if you, I don't care about your social media. So because I was a little bit different, I joined this coaching program because I wanted to learn how to build teams, organizations. And all throughout that process, I didn't deal with them at all. I was like, bro, I didn't come here for that. Show me how you're doing 500 flips. Because on the rehab side, that was something where I'm selling rehabs, and I'm like, bro, I don't rehab. I barely do buy and sell, but I don't rehab. So I went to him to learn how to rehab. And then what was happening, I forgot to say this, 18 months ago, I helped one of my guys take down a portfolio from Anchor Bank, 135 homes. I pitched this investor. And those 135 homes from North Jersey all the way to South Jersey forced me to level up. And I bought the portfolio, parts of it. So what it is, okay, 1 minute I'm in Westfield, 1 minute I'm in Montclair, then there's a mansion here, then there's a new construction here. Oh, I'm in Union, it's supposed to be a lot of land. This is an office building with 34 offices. I had to move the product. So every month that mortgage was $250 a month. I did everything apart from paying the mortgage. I built the litigation team, the eviction team, acquisitions, and that forced me on a national level. When I go on a national level where people know what I did, where the CEO from Anchor Bank came to New Jersey to meet me to say, how the hell are you doing this? Asset managers can't do this. So I had to be learning while I'm jumping off how to renovate high-end homes, loan, new construction. I had to just learn it as I was jumping.
That was full speed.
At full speed. So the next step is commercial, not because, hey, that's a natural progression, because the people around me were leveling up, and it doesn't make sense to do the 1, 2, 3 families no more. If you're talking about acquisitions, if it's not a minimum of between 30 to 50 mil, it doesn't make sense for a lot of our community.
Right.
So I have to grow now. So we're now putting the funds together to build our fund and what have you. And the same approach that I have with this stuff here, I'm going to just bring it into commercial.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Do you ever see yourself going back?
I'm going to be, I would be
like going back to England, or either buying back in England, or
still buying.
Have you bought anything there?
We do everything in England. Where's my phone?
So you're still buying in England?
We do it from our cell phone. Only in America, you guys are doing your attorney review. You're going to closes, attorney. If we had to do that in England, we would erupt. Yeah, we would like burn the House of Parliament down.
So how fast are deals closing?
I could fund the deal in a week.
In a week.
Closings in a week.
And is the mortgages the same?
Average.
Or is it different now?
They're same American mortgage lenders. But they brand themselves under something else because the Americans lend you the money. So now it's longer. Back in the day, when I was a mortgage broker, I was doing same day approvals that you could get your cash within 24 hours. And if you had a dog's name, I could get you the money for the dog. That's how the Americans came and messed up with that whole curse that you're talking about.
I know.
So what I'm saying to you is that would I go back? I'm going to go back this year for the first time in probably 5-7 years. My roots are, like I said, I grew up in Jamaica. So like I said, I was a British kid. At the age of 12, my family shipped me up to Jamaica. My attitude and mentality isn't probably from the British mentality. It's really that we went to Jamaica as British people, had hardship there. So my grind and my hustle is from there. In Jamaica, I'm probably more popular than what I am now. Same situation that you say business-wise, all that kind of stuff. I just came back 2 weeks ago, and I haven't been back for about 10 years. But my whole grind and a lot of focus because of the poverty, hardship, stuff that we went through, that's really what's giving me a different level of thinking. That's where it came from. So, yeah.
Okay.
How's the appreciation in England? Is it the same as America?
America, I thought you guys were crazy. I was like, how? This American system, let me tell you something. You could buy something in Belgium and in 25 years, it appreciates maybe 10 grand. In 25 years.
Hell no.
So when I came here and I saw 100, I was like, for 5 years, I kept on asking your economist questions. How? Why? How do you get a cap rate of that's illegal? Like literally, what's going on in America is crazy. When I was my houses, like I tell people, I've managed over 300 of my own houses, and I say to people that look, if I was earning $200 to $600 a month, that was phenomenal. Like actually, it was impossible. Maybe 300 a piece, 50 to 300 a piece. I'm earning on each one, and then I come here and you guys are telling me cash flow at $1,500. Yep. I'm saying that's not. So when I have my clients and they're telling me, "Oh, I want a cash flow," I'm like, "Listen, what's happening right now is abnormal." But what it is, I say to them, "You're lucky." Right. Americans don't know how great this country is. So when people talk to me, and like I said, when people talk to me about America, and I explain to people that haven't traveled and stuff, I say, bro, listen, man, I went to Germany, and the guy thought I was a black American, and they treat me like a celebrity. I was like, yeah, I have. Yeah. America's influence, that music called hip hop. Like when I went to India, in the village, they haven't saw a black person before, but Biggie Smalls was on the zinc fence. Yeah? So what I'm saying to you, when I meet Americans, I said, bro, Americans have a bigger outlook whereby people want to meet you. All this oppression that I see people go through, just leave America and go to Dubai, treat you like a king. Come to Europe, just the fact that you got an accent. Right now, after I've done all this stuff, I plan to sell white t-shirts called Made in America. I'm going to sell them for $150 in Europe.
And what's it called? Bandit America?
I'm just going to call it Made in America.
Oh, Made in America.
What products do you have in your house that says Made in America?
Right.
I'm going to a product where it's gold dust. I'm going to go into markets where you ain't getting no American product. It's a white t-shirt. It was made in America, but you got to pay $150 for it.
I love it, man. As we start out to sit here, Darrell, for anybody that wants to tap in with you, ask you a question, pick your brain, sign up for your mentorship, get under your wing, where can people find you at?
Darrel Bailey Real Estate, that's where you can find me. And like I said, this is probably I do podcasts and stuff, but here's my thing. I can only help people who want to help themselves.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's my mindset. So it doesn't matter right now if you ain't got the money, as long as you got the mindset that you want to grind. I've given you a whole story of some stuff I even shared with my friends. But as long as you got that focus there, it doesn't matter. You're 9 to 5. I sold my sneakers to buy my fourth house. I had like 50 grams worth of sneakers. That's what I sold for my next down payment. When I realized that, that's what they mean by depreciating assets. I'm not making money. I learned different things through real life situations. If you're willing to learn, you will earn. So I'm willing to help anyone. If you're willing to put in the energy and the work to learn, I'll help you. Send me a DM. Understand that you ain't gonna just get hold of me like that. We schedule appointments, have strategy calls, but you gotta be serious about that. You know what? And it can't be just about money, Austin. You gotta be telling me that this is what I want to do for my family, my kids. We have to do real stuff. Because the way I see things, and I didn't get to talk about my faith and stuff today, but the way I said to you is that God has blessed me. So the way I give back is by blessing others. So I sow seed. And the only way I know that I've done good, Austin, when I know that you sow seed for someone else, that's my first step. I go, okay, I've done first step of doing good. That's my virus effect. So as long as you're that type of person that wants to give, and it's not just about money, and you want to change the world and do great positive things, then we can collaborate.
I love it, man. Anything else?
I wouldn't say what's next, but you mentioned regarding going nationwide, right?
There's too many things.
Global.
You need another hour for that. But like the same thing I told you, the way I'm selling the T-shirt, guess who wants to buy American real estate for visa to get into this country, securing themselves?
Yeah, pretty much everybody else.
There you go. You take the product to the market that needs it the most.
Gary V's big on that. This last statement here, Gary V's big on that. Just when it comes down to like data marketing and things like that, and just going into territories that you would never think of, and it's just like where the ad spend or just marketing dollars are going to go so much further because it's not as saturated there.
There you go. Hey guys, like I said, I'm proud of you guys. Keep on pushing. You're doing great things. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be different. We're in a great era right now. And like I said, I don't care about anyone's political kind of views, but here's what I'm saying about America. Anytime there's chaos, there's opportunity. If there's blood on the streets, you buy, my friend. That is it. The more chaos there is, the more opportunity there is. I made more money in Donald Trump's time when there was chaos before, not because of the chaos. The people got serious. They got focused. And now they're like, yeah, Austin, I'm buying a house, because they were serious. What do you think's going to happen for the next 4 years? People are getting serious right now. So real estate is a great business right now that if you put yourself out there and say, I can help you, bro, you can have a whole completely different life, business plan, whatever you want.
Do you think it's going to be better for investors, or do you think it's going to be, or actually it is going to be better for investors? Give me your last thoughts on how buyers, normal families, people that are just looking to get into their first piece of home ownership, how they're going to be able to compete and participate in this market, because it's getting obviously crazy.
All right, so we should have probably started with this, but I'll do it quick.
Yeah, give me the 15, 30 second.
Right, Europe, first-time buyers cannot buy a home. You're priced out. You will never be able to buy a home in your generation. That's coming to America. I'm
not surprised. Thank you. I said it 5 years ago. Here we are now. And in 5 years, it's going to be a luxury item. It's just like us. And I don't feel any shame about it, because like it's with, it's like us New Jerseyans trying to go buy in Manhattan. And it's just like, you can't. It's just, you can't do it. Like, I don't care about like, and yes, for us New Jerseyans, we were never that type of state, right? Because everybody from Europe was like, I can't wait to go to New York. I would love to see New York City. New Jersey's, we're like, man, Statue of Liberty, you talking about that? Man, we visit. But when you're there for so long, you don't realize what's happening, and or you realize, but you're not used to it because you're so used to New Jersey just being that state that was right next to New York.
So imagine if you bought Jersey City, Hoboken back in the day. We're not even talking about New York, Bed-Stuy and stuff, but imagine if you just bought just anywhere, Bergen and Lafayette. When I hear guys, I meet old school guys talking about Hoboken, where there was like a prostitution and no one wanted those. And
Same
if you
thing
just
as Times Square.
There you go.
Right, and here we are again.
There we go. History repeats itself, man. There's nothing new under the sun, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to definitely thank today's guest for stopping by, taking the time out his busy day while he's building his empire here for him and his family. And definitely be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. We're trying to make sure that we share this information, keep this value going. We're dedicated to, being the go-to podcast community-wise and being the network for everybody that's doing extremely well in New Jersey. And I think that's, the goal and the direction to keep all of us that, everyone that's already doing amazing things tapped in and keep this thing going. Because, from what I see from everybody in New Jersey, to your point, we can do amazing things in other states and in other countries, clearly. And we want this to kind of be the hub of that. Mm-hmm. And, that is the goal. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Definitely, Darrell, appreciate you taking the time coming out today. And we definitely will be tapping in with you real soon. This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. I am your humble host, Austin, more than an agent. My co-host, my Dominicano hermano, John does real estate. This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast, signing off.
Well done.